Hello everyone, welcome to the Scumdog's Kennel. I'm your host, Chris Williams, and in today's Cryptid Corner mini-episode, today I have yet more bizarre stories to read to you today, folks. Both of them are very bizarre. The first story we'll deal with is about this New Mexico boneyard, and the other, an encounter with not only a Glimmerman, but a shadow being as well. Let's get into the first article, the mysterious New Mexico boneyard photos, and read exactly what was discovered in New Mexico. In 2002, a prospector in New Mexico stumbled upon a sprawling 2,000-foot boneyard filled with the remains of deer, elk, cattle, bears, and more, many crushed, broken, or left partially intact, with no sign of hunters or human dumping. The mystery deepens. What predator has been stockpiling carcasses for decades in this remote desert location? Let's read further, folks. I received the following inquiry and images in June 2015. Is it possible that this is a Bigfoot kill dump and or boneyard? I am aware of at least one other location in New Mexico where similar activity has occurred. Let's read the actual, story itself, folks, now. That was a good opener, though. MF, aka Redacted, was prospecting in the Redacted, New Mexico, late September 2002. He told me about a strange location he had stumbled upon and later showed me a few of the photos he had taken. Below, a steep slope on a semi-flat rocky area strewn amongst the typical high desert trees was a boneyard. This boneyard, according to MF, was over 200 feet long, and many of the bones had washed into a ravine below the dump, making the number of bones even greater than what he could see. The remains were a sampling of most of the mammals that live in the Redacted, including deer, elk, bighorn, sheep, bears, mountain lions, horses, and cattle. Antlers and horns were broken and left on partial skulls, which ruled out poachers and trophy hunters. On some of the kills made in recent years, the hides and flesh still clung to the bones, ruling out meat hunters. The location is too far from a rough four-wheel drive forest service road for any truck to use. This as a dump site, MF searched for any intact skulls that he could take home, but most were all or partially crushed. He guesses that something has been dumping carcasses here for over 50 years. He returned several times over the years, hoping to find some evidence of what was responsible. MF thinks the predator has to be big and powerful, either dragging the carcasses long distance through the forest or dropping the carcasses from above, an intriguing mystery. After I returned to New Mexico from Redacted, I plan to visit the site with MF in the fall of 2015. I'll take a close-up photos with a good camera. MF doesn't type or use a computer, so I'm sending this in the hope that you have some insight into what this might be. I'm attaching 3 photos taken from the old cell phone camera. If you want more info, let me know, LL. Here are the photos themselves, folks, and as you can see, this small sampling of the photos shows what could basically very well be the dumping ground for a Bigfoot and the kills they've made over, 50 years. But is that really the truth, folks? Was it one Bigfoot or maybe several? Here you can see another photo, and you can see these bones are just laying down in this ravine, and they're just all over the place. Certainly, folks, the fact that this particular area is so far from where anyone could basically go there, folks, like poachers or maybe animal hunters, the fact that it's in such a remote area really points to this basically being, an area that more is going on in. That's something very definitely strange is dumping these bones here, folks, because, poachers wouldn't go through the trouble just to do all this, just to dump their kills in such a remote area. And this final photo shows more of the bones, all of it very strange. So, were these actually the kills of a Bigfoot, folks? And what about other cryptids like Mothman, or maybe even, such creatures like the devil monkey? Do they play a hand in this as well? We don't know, but all of it's very strange. Either way, let's move on to the next article. Glimmerman and Shadow Being recently haunt Burbank, California family, and hear exactly what has been happening to these people, folks, and how they're dealing with it. Let's get into this article now and read exactly the full story. On Labor Day night, a Burbank, California resident witnessed a shimmering, heat wave-like entity lurking near a parked car before it darted across the street and climbed a palm tree. The following evening, the witness's son encountered a tall, dark figure at the end of the bed, 2 unsettling incidents that may be connected to something more than just a spirit. Hi Lon, I hope this message finds you well. I wanted to share a recent experience I had that I think you might find interesting. This encounter took place on Labor Day, Monday, September 1st, 2025. I have lived in the same single-family home in Burbank, California for 25 years, and it's a relatively quiet street, especially at night. My son returned home at 11:15 p.m., and at midnight, I took our dog outside. I was standing about 17 feet from the left side of my son's car, which he had backed into the driveway. I noticed a heat wave coming from the rear right side of the car, which was surprising since the vehicle had been parked for 45 minutes and it was a very warm evening. A street light backlighted the area, and I saw the heat wave emanating from the car's trunk. Curious, I walked over to investigate. As I looked at the trunk, I followed the heat wave up until it ended at approximately 5 feet above the car, which is an average-sized sedan. That's when I realized something was wrong. It was a figure. I stopped as I noticed what I thought was its head, and it quickly ducked down. Feeling uneasy, I retreated to the porch where my dog was watching me. I bent down to take my dog off his leash and let him inside. Just then, I noticed the dirt across the street being disturbed, creating a path towards a large palm tree, which began to sway. What can I say, folks? This does sound like a Glimmer Man encounter, because it fits all that we've heard about them before. But what about this shadowy being that was also encountered later on? We'll get to that in a moment, but I have to ask, folks, is this really what we're seeing here? A Glimmer Man and a shadow being? Is there any possibility of this being a haunting, is what I'm asking. Perhaps, so let's read on. Here's my theory. There was a glimmering being standing near the back of my son's car when I first came outside. When I approached it, I realized I saw it, and it ducked down. As I rushed back into the house, I saw it cut a path through the yard, across the street, and climb the palm tree. This all happened in just a matter of seconds, and I continue to feel uneasy about it. To add to the strangeness, the following evening at 11:30 p.m., while getting ready for bed, my son, who was in his early 20s, came to the bathroom to tell me that he had seen a ghost in my room. This was unusual, as he did not know what I experienced the night before, and I hadn't mentioned it to anyone. We don't joke around about such things, and I have never heard him say anything like this before. He explained that while he was looking for the dog, he walked to my bedroom doorframe and stopped when he caught a glimpse of a tall, dark, nondescript figure, which he described as a man, standing at the end of my bed. He quickly backed out and peeked again, but there was nothing there. He shared this with me, his eyes wide and his laughter nervous. He has brought it up twice since then. I can't shake the feeling that these incidents are connected. Wherever it is, it seems to know where I live. Needless to say, we have been sleeping with all the lights on since then. I wanted to add that I have followed your work for years, and I have great respect for what you do. I've always been interested in the paranormal, as I've encountered spirits for as long as I can remember. However, this was different. This was not a spirit. My family supports my interests and respects what I share with them. I take these experiences seriously, and they are true. Please feel free to share this if you think it may be of interest to others. I ask that you not use my name, as I don't want people to think I'm crazy. Thank you, D. Okay, folks, D here has seen ghosts all his life, but he says there's something different about the Glimmer Man encounter he had, as well as this shadow person. Now, folks, we've talked about before how people who see, well, lights in the sky often see ghosts or even Bigfoot occasionally as well. Do you think the fact that this man has seen spirits his whole life has opened him up to other paranormal phenomena, like, well, the Glimmer Man and even shadow people, perhaps? It seems strange that this man's son should see a shadow person just after this man the previous night saw one of the Glimmer Man. Now, it could be that maybe that this man saw some sort of government agent in some sort of high-tech suit that made him nearly invisible, and supposing that this shadow person was either the same man or another man in some sort of similar suit, only it makes you look like a shadow. But then again, it sounds like the son easily saw this being, so it makes me think that isn't the case here. We don't know exactly what these entities are, but the fact that the experiencer has seen spirits all his life makes me think that, indeed, he's a magnet for such phenomena. Either way, very interesting, folks. And I do believe that this man is telling the truth. Now, folks, we're at the end, so please go subscribe to my YouTube channel, Read Comics They're Bad For You. You can use the YouTube link down below in the descriptions of the chat to go subscribe to me. Hit that like button for me. Make sure you're still subscribed. Leave some comments down below. Hit that bell for notifications. Hit the part of the bell that'll give you all future notifications, and please share this video out. I'm Chris Williams from the Scumdogs Kennel. Thank you all for joining me. I'll be back again tomorrow with another great video, so be sure to come back again then. Till next time, folks, I'll see you all again soon.